Yes. Welcome to the Vegas Voice podcast. I'm Evan Davis, the entertainment director. That's a new title I got, by the way. I used to be entertainment editor, couldn't pronounce it. So, I'm here for our second part with Bucky Hurt of the Righteous Brothers and Vinny Adinolfi of the Bronx Wanderers. Welcome, guys, back.
Hey, it's great to be back.
I know. We discussed you talking about some of the experiences you've had in the past and in their past on different shows that you've had, especially ones at the was it the Red Palm?
Sure.
Doing.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everyone a little about that, because it was so funny, enjoyable anyway for me.
I mean, we would show up and we just had a ball. Our friend Johnny Bird had booked this restaurant and said, "Why don't you guys come down and sit in?" And we just went down to sit in, not expecting anything. And all of a sudden, we laughed so much. It became, "What, can we do this again?"
Yeah, I looked forward to it. It's
And it just went on and on.
I think we did. We were on for about 3.5 hours some nights because we were supposed to be done in 3.
Yes.
We weren't making. I mean, literally, I think
Nothing.
the most I made was $170, I think, or 100.
Maybe.
And then they were charging us for drinks.
Yeah.
So
That's
me and
right.
Vinny started sitting.
I started smuggling in. I said, "What do you want to drink?"
I know,
And he
same
would tell me
thing.
scotch. This. I would come in with a duffel bag.
Me and-
I go, this is for my,
What have you got?
my clothes.
We said, open up
And
our
we would
bags.
open our own bar in the back. We said, that's
We'd
fine.
sit back there while they were having dinner, and sit back there for 30 minutes, and we'd just catch up and talk, and then we just kind of like, what do you think we want to do tonight?
Yeah.
And Vinny does Grease.
Yeah.
I just remember you doing that and getting to sing with it. The words, and harmonizing with, and he's playing guitar, and then Johnny would sit at the piano and play Imagine,
was
and he
great.
did some Mickey Gilley stuff, and we lost our friend Mickey Gilley last year, and I sent a video to him. Johnny's playing The Girls All Get Prettier in Round Closing Time at the piano. I said, "We're thinking about you, Mick," and he just loved it,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a hard time, but
It was so, what we had to work through though, imagine a guy that owns a restaurant that would not allow walk-up business. So there we are playing, and there's all these windows, and people see, well, what's going on in there? And people would want to come in. No, you can't come in. Unless you bought a ticket in advance and prepaid,
Yeah.
it wouldn't let anybody. So we'd play to 10 people, and there'd be 20 people on the sidewalk wanting to get in. And you go, this is not going to last long.
and okay, we're in Las Vegas. We weren't allowed to have a cocktail on stage. And I'm like, when Sinatra was on stage, he had a glass of something, and they said Dean Martin was drinking tea. I don't know
Right,
if that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
But
Wayne will tell you no.
yeah.
Wayne will tell you no. Wayne will say no.
But it's not like I'm sitting up there doing shots. I want to have a glass of wine on a stool over
something.
here.
And Johnny didn't drink on stage?
Oh, Johnny, yeah. How did he?
So he builds.
invented
He
this-
actually built a box that had this giant setup with 3 bottles on them,
With
and
long
with our
straw-
glasses,
curly
and a
straws?
straw that went 10 feet to the stage.
Yeah, it's sat
So
off
it
the
wasn't
stage.
on the stage; it was off the stage.
We were drinking on stage, but the drinks were off
the
stage.
stage. So he would say, "Buy us a drink." They would pour it in our glass off stage.
Yeah.
And we would walk over to the straw,
So
5 feet
straw.
from the stage. And,
Now that was genius.
That was Johnny's idea.
That was Johnny Bird.
Yeah.
I know. Johnny and I host a variety show for the Vegas Voice.
That's
Oh,
great.
that's great.
And he built a desk for me and stuff like. I mean, he's very talented.
He's
Big
just,
heart.
and he's a
He's a big heart.
you just took the words out of my mouth. He's got the biggest heart.
Yeah.
He's such a great dad, and he's just a wonderful guy.
He invited me on a tour, which you stiffed me on and
No,
didn't come. Yes, you didn't come.
Well,
So
I saw the-
wait.
kinda saw the
International Falls, Minnesota. Again, I'm from New York. What the hell is International Falls? But I don't know. Bucky, you going? Yeah, I'm gonna go. All right, I go, and even though Bucky couldn't make it, what do you mean Bucky couldn't make it? So now I get on a plane. I get there. It was 20 below. And the wind is whipping, and if you spit, it turns to snow. And some guy comes up to me and goes, "Boy, are you lucky. You came in at the right time. A week ago it was 40 below.
Oh
This is
my
like a heat
God.
wave test." I go, "Bucky, I want to kill you right now." I had so much.
Did the van break down?
Everything.
Well, I just had a premonition. I forgot what came up.
Yeah. Common sense.
No, I would have gone.
Common sense came up, yeah.
I needed the money then too, man. But yeah, but it was.
But, you know, just to say what it was like, so we're doing these shows in International Falls, and Johnny's losing his shirt.
Mhm.
And he promised me, he said, I'll give you 500 a show. We're gonna do 3 shows, I'll give you 1,500. And I'm calling my wife and I going, I can't take money from this guy.
Yeah.
I go, we're playing to 20 people. I go, he doesn't have any money, and he's gonna pay me $1,500. And at the end of the thing, some guy gave him a tip for like $1,000, and he fights with me to take this money. I said, I'm not taking the money. He stuffed it in my bag. When I got home, I opened the bag, and there was the money. I mean, you know, and that's why I always say, you know, whatever I can do to always help him, I
Yeah,
always will.
he is, man.
Good
He's
heart.
got the biggest heart,
But we laughed.
and
We laughed the whole time.
And it was it was just a special time, you know. I was doing stuff with John Wiedemeyer, and we were doing this duo, and God bless, you know, Dennis Bono and Lorraine. They had us at Bootlegger, but it was only 25% capacity, so
Yeah.
you know, and they were paying us $200, I think, each for
Yeah.
3 hours. But the people that came out I always found that they were so generous. I think it's because they so appreciated the fact that we were out there trying to entertain, and we would, you know, we'd make as much in tips as we would make, you know, we're getting paid. So,
Yeah.
you know, people came out and really showed up for us, and helped us.
You know, you got to mention the Italian American Club too.
Oh, boy.
I mean, there were like 4 places in town when
Tuscany.
when its entire town shut down. It was Tuscany, Italian American Club. You know, we had Red Palms for a little bit. I think Chianti was over.
Yeah,
But there
Chianti
was like
was
4 or 5 places that kept every headliner in town.
The Vegas
working.
room opened up.
Vegas room, right? It was great.
But you know, you weren't making any money, but at least
You're out.
there's a stage to sing on, because that's what, and Bill was talking about this. He's like, during COVID, it's like somebody reached in and pulled our hearts out. Because when as an entertainer, it's not a choice for you to be on stage. It's your life, it's your blood. You have to be on stage. It's just part of who you are. And when that's taken away, it's like you lose a piece of your identity. And it's just hard to even put it into words. But to stand out, and we were doing some live streaming. I know you guys did that. You know, you kind of reinvent things. I wrote a musical during COVID, you know, so I had the time. It was just, so there was some good bright spots that came out of it. And hanging out with this fella and getting to know him better was one of the biggest.
Yeah, I hated it. I produce shows for The Biggest Voice, and one of the things is that you have a certain budget. You know, there's only a certain seat capacity. There's only so much you can do. You know, you'd love to have a 6-piece band behind you and
Yep.
stuff.
Right.
When all you can have is a piano player, sometimes tracks, which
Right.
I hate to do. You know, like that.
You have to. You
And
gotta
yeah,
do-
I know, but you know, I just
Did
I-
duo work, me and
I
John.
I'd feel bad, embarrassed to offer someone, you know, such a small a pittance
Right.
to play. You know, it's just very difficult.
That's all you can, you know.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you just do what you gotta do.
Last year, an agent called me up, and it was in the height of COVID, and said to me, "It's over. Nobody's working." And I had another Johnny Bird kind of guy. His name is Johnny T. And Johnny's played the Italian American Club a couple of times, and he's from Florida. But same thing. Johnny said, "You want to work?" And I said, "What do you mean I want to work?" He goes, "I get you work." And he got us 20 jobs in the height of COVID. But
Wow.
we had to go out, just Vinny and I, because I couldn't afford to bring the band,
of course.
for hotel rooms, for food, for
Yeah, there's
everything.
no way, yeah.
And so we just worked with tracks with the 2 of us. But we had as good a time. Audience had as good a time, and you know.
You were in Carnival Court too, the two
Yeah.
of you doing that.
Oh yes,
I mean, 3 hours, 4 hours. And let me tell you-
5 hours.
That's right.
outside.
And let me tell you something.
5 hours.
I came, his voice, I thought.
I tell everybody, you're a vocal coach too.
No.
I mean, no, that's the truth. Bucky Hurd
Yeah.
not only has this voice that'll kill you and bury you under the table, knows everything about, he's a vocal coach, and he's an excellent coach.
Thank you, brother. Well, I told Vinny, I'm like, I've never heard you sound better, and you're singing 5 hours a night, because he knows how to sing. He sings properly. He knows where to place it, and when you know that, you just get stronger. And he's singing stuff like, I mean, up in the freaking stratosphere, outside, and killing it, man. And it wasn't, I mean, don't you feel like just really strengthened your voice? Because I hear
at
your
the
voice
time-
sounds different to me now than it did.
It's definitely stronger
Yeah.
and better, which I'm
It's-
amazed at.
Your voice was already amazing, but I mean, I was like, shh.
I'm
Like,
amazed.
holy cow,
The
I
more
knew
you
had a
work, the
range, but I
better
didn't know
you
you
will
had
have,
a,
yeah.
like
And
what
you
were
always
doing.
thought, I've read through Journey tunes, what we would do, but I would always lean on Bucky to do the high notes. And hey, you could do it. I go, no, I can't do it. I cannot do it. He goes, you could do it, you could do it. And finally, there was one night I was out and I was like this little kid where I hit the note and I'm looking, where is it? Because I have to call him right now and tell him, I hit that note, I hit that note. And it really was great.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully we'll get the two of you, actually to do be a duet, do a show. It will be the
Righteous
Wanderers.
Wanderers, the
Yeah.
Bronx Brothers. I mean, well, I told Vinny, I said, Bill is doing great, and he's sounding better than ever. I said, but I think this, I told Bill when we started this, I said, I'm in this with you until you're done. He said, well, I'm not done until the people keep coming or the good Lord takes me out. That's the only, but I told Vinny, I said, I just feel like there's gonna come a day down the line that we're gonna get a chance to do some stuff together.
I mean, Bill basically at one point talked to me about retiring. And I said, listen to me, you sound as good as ever. And hold on. I said, when he's doing Hold On, Sam and Dave,
Oh,
I said, are you kidding me?
Kill it.
I said, you have more soul than anybody. I go, and you kill it. I go, you cannot leave. You're not leaving.
and I still got a
I
mortgage.
said, yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny, Vinny, when you're up on stage, and I tell people, Bill gets concerned about some of his high notes, and
I said,
I said
you're
nobody
not
cares.
listening to that.
No, here's what I noticed. Okay, we come out, we do the opener, like we do in Hold On, I'm Coming.
Yeah.
We do some of the smaller hits. Their first, Little Latin Loopy Loo was their first hit that Bill wrote. Just Once in My Life, which is a Carole King song, made it to number 5. We do a few of those. Then we do Soul and Inspiration. And as soon as he says, girl, I can't let you do this, you can
The whole
feel
room.
a collective, and hands are being held.
That's it.
Women are putting their head on the husband's shoulder, and you oftentimes see, because I said, as soon as you do that, they've got their money's worth. As soon as you go, you never close your mouth. they've got their money's worth.
With that tune though, the great thing about that tune, which Bill is such a humble guy and doesn't talk. Unchained Melody.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, biggest hit ever. You lost that love and you lost that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. I think is down as one of like the number one
Most played.
of all time, and that was Phil Spector. And the follow-up record to that is going to be hard. And Bill produced it himself. And when you hear that record, everybody that's not a record person will go, "Oh man, yeah, Phil Spector." No, Bill
Unchained
Medley.
Melody, you mean?
Bill Medley.
Or Soul.
Right.
So-
Soul Inspiration. That was Bill.
He produced, and
He
produced
produced
both of
that
those.
whole, yeah.
That's,
He did both of those, and everybody always thought Phil Spector. No, man.
No.
That was Bill.
and like Bill's actually playing piano on Unchained Melody. When you
Yeah,
hear the
really?
piano part, that's Bill. And Bobby came in. This is an interesting. I'll tell this quick. He said when I brought Bobby in, I produced the record. I brought Bobby in to sing it. You might not know this. You might. So I brought Bobby in to sing it. So back then, you had what, four tracks, I think, or if that.
Yeah, probably.
That's how. That's
And they would just multi-bounce
and then they were
them
multi.
off
Yeah,
and-
that's why the wall of sound.
Yeah.
So he said Bobby came in. He did the whole song in one take, minus the high note. The signature note. So and Bill thought, wow, it's wonderful. And Bobby said, great job. Sang it down one time. Didn't recut anything, nothing. One time. He leaves the studio. Bill said, before he even gets outdoors, he comes back in and says, I want you to punch me into this one spot. And he does it, he does the high note and punches him out. And because Bill told me, he goes, Bobby, if I do this, we're going to lose this. You can't get it back. When you erase something back then, it's gone. And Bill hits the high note, and Bobby hits the high note, and Bill said, I'm going, wow. And Bobby goes, I can do it better. And I'm going to quote Medley, and pardon me, I don't know if I can say this word on the air, but you can bleep it out. I'm quoting Bill Medley. He said, Bobby, you couldn't make me erase that take if you shoved a shotgun up my ass. So that classic song is 2 take. 1 take, punched in the high note.
You know, when you hear that
And
today.
you hear it and you think he must have done that 100 times to get those dynamics. And
Yeah.
he just sang it once.
That's amazing. It's
Crazy.
amazing.
Amazing.
Well, all right, well, guys, I tell you what, I appreciate you coming back again.
We
It's
loved it,
really
man.
good.
Are we coming back again? We're not done.
I know.
Part 3.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna speak to social media and see if we can do like an hour. on it. But I wanna thank you again, and this is, Evan Davis of the Vegas Voice Podcast with Bucky Hurd and Vinny Adinolfi saying, we'll see you next time.
Awesome.